Ladies and gentlemen, the AP poll for week number 2 is finally here. We're going to talk about it here in a second. But first, if you are new to the channel, welcome back to these sports lovers. Here we talk sports basically on a daily basis. Whether football, basketball, baseball, you name it, we're probably going to be talking about it here on the channel. In today's second video of the day, we are going to predict the ACC games for week number 2. But first, we have the AP poll to go ahead and react to in this video. I was waiting on it to drop so I could get this second video out for you guys around 3 o'clock or so that I can react to the AP poll, and then we'll talk about the games and then head into our Road to Glory video. So without further ado, let us go ahead and talk about this AP poll. First off, we have Utah at 25, Texas Tech at 24, Indiana at 23, Tennessee at 22, Alabama at 21, Ole Miss at 20, Texas A&M at 19, Oklahoma at 18, SMU at 17, Iowa State at 16, Michigan at 15, Florida State at 14, Florida at 13, Arizona State at 12, Illinois at 11, South Carolina at 10, Notre Dame at 9, Clemson at 8, Texas at 7, Oregon at 6, Miami at 5, Georgia at 4, LSU at 3, Penn State at 2, and Ohio State at 1. So, first takeaway here, it's a decent AP poll, right? Utah making it into the AP poll for the first time after blowing out UCLA. Obviously, that's probably going to be expected. However, Florida State jumps all the way to 14 in the country, just behind their rivals, Florida. I think that's very interesting to note because Florida State was 2-10 last year, and then they go ahead and knock off the Alabama Crimson Tide, which we're going to react to on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. But they get the job done at home against Alabama. Ole Miss is staying put at 20. I like that idea. Obviously, Michigan and Oklahoma, that sets up a top 15 matchup here on Saturday night, where College Game Day will be this week. And then Miami in the top 5 for the first time in a minute. Georgia at number 4, LSU at number 3. I like that. Penn State at number 2 and Ohio State at number 1 are all very interesting as well. So, overall, it's a decent AP poll, right? Obviously, we're not going to take anything into account right now because it's just week 1. We did have a bunch of top 10 matchups to kick off the season, but you're not going to move anywhere if you lose by a one-score game or something like that, and that's what this AP poll did show, especially with the Miami and Notre Dame game being a very good matchup on Sunday night as well. So, lots of interesting takeaways there for this top 25 AP poll. And without further ado, let us go ahead and hop into our ACC week number 2 prediction video. Alright, so starting us off here on Friday, September 6th, we have James Madison going into Louisville. This is on Friday night, September 5th rather. Friday night, 6 o'clock, ESPN2, a Friday night matchup. Going to be a good one here. Obviously, Miller Moss played really well in his Louisville debut. I think they get the job done here. This is a Sun Belt team, so keep in mind that they are on the lower list of schools here at D1 college football. But definitely could see James Madison putting up some competition, right? Especially against that Louisville offense. If they can, or that Louisville defense rather, if their offense can compete with that Louisville offense, then it's going to be an absolute banger of a game. However, I've got Louisville winning this one to open up ACC week number 2 games on Friday night. Illinois at Duke. This is going to be a very fun one. Obviously, I'm wearing the Duke shirt right now if you guys can't tell, and I'm wearing the Duke hat. Always do for my ACC prediction video. Illinois going into Duke. This is going to be a fun one because Illinois played really well last week. Duke also played really well. Their quarterback threw for, I believe, 3 touchdown passes against Elon. So I'm very interested to see who's going to win this defensive battle, right? I think Illinois, has a little bit better defensive personnel than Duke does, which is why I'm going to go with Illinois to get the job done at Duke. However, it's going to be a very interesting matchup for sure. And that I think Duke can definitely compete, especially with it being at home and being at a weird time at 11 o'clock. A little bit early for a matchup, but I think Illinois should be able to get the job done. Baylor at SMU. Baylor coming off the loss to, of course, the Auburn Tigers. SMU coming off of a win, a dominant win there in week number 2. I think that Baylor could potentially get this job done. Sawyer Robertson looked really good in that Auburn game, but again, Duke is going to be a fantastic team, SMU is going to be a fantastic team in the ACC to watch, especially with Jennings coming back for another year. I think that that is really good for SMU and really good for, really good for, I guess you would say, team chemistry there. So second year returning here at SMU. I'm going to go with SMU, though, just because they're at home. However, again, like I said with Duke, I could totally see Baylor popping out and winning this game, especially if Sawyer Robertson gets to his receivers on time when he's supposed to, like we saw in the first half against Auburn on Friday night. So, again, can definitely see Baylor in there walking in and beating SMU, but I'm going to go with SMU just because they are at home, and home field advantage definitely helps in college football. Virginia at NC State. This is going to be a fun one here in ACC play. This is the first matchup of ACC conference play, and it's starting at 11 a.m. Central Time here on ESPN2 on Saturday. This is going to be a really good one, I think. Virginia played really well. NC State kind of struggled with Eastern Carolina. So I'm very interested to see this matchup. And I'm interested to see how good Virginia's offense actually is, or whether it's just a fluke against a really mid-Coastal Carolina Sunbelt Conference team. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go with Virginia on the road to get the job done. I just think NC State struggled a little bit to give me the confidence to predict them against a Virginia team that played really well. And in these first couple of weeks, we really don't know what's going to happen. So give me Virginia here on the road. However, not going to be shocked whatsoever if NC State wins this one in the first ACC play. Pittsburgh hosting Central Michigan. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh here. They obviously blew out Denise. They're probably going to blow out Central Michigan as well. So give me them to get the job done at home, as the Pittsburgh will move on to 2-0 on the year. UConn at Syracuse. Guys, UConn's not that great of a team. Don't let them, their performance this past week kid you right? This is against an ACC opponent. Yes, Syracuse did struggle against Tennessee, but they're going to get the job done in their home opener. I have faith that they will compete for sure in this ACC conference. Give me them at home, as they will get the job done. East Texas A&M at Florida State. Florida State coming off that big win over Alabama. Give me Florida State here at home, as they will start off the season 2-0. Big time for them because they only won 2 games last year. We'll see how much a difference a year makes, right? We'll see how much that comes into play against this East Texas A&M team for Florida State, but I feel like they should get the job done at home. Western Carolina at Wake Forest. This is going to be a fun one here. I guess I'm going to go with Wake Forest. Yes, I know that they struggled a little bit in that opening game against Kennesaw State, but they should be able to get the job done against Western Carolina. I've never heard of the school, quite frankly, in my life, so that is why I'm going to go with Wake Forest to get the job done at home. At least they should get the job done. Maybe they won't here on paper, but maybe, I don't know. I feel like Wake Forest should win this game nonetheless. So, moving on to Troy at Clemson, an in-state team in the state of Alabama going to Clemson for, of course, a 2:30 kickoff time. Different from last week's night game against LSU. Going to be a different vibe, but I still feel like Cade Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers will bounce back, right? Cade Klubnik looked a little slow in that LSU game. I'm very interested to see how the offense is going to bounce back for Clemson, especially against, let's be honest, not that great of a defense that Troy has when they compete in the Sun Belt. That's not me hating on Troy or anything for being a South fan, but that's just the sad truth about it, right? Troy doesn't really have that great a defense. They're playing against a Power 4 team on the road in Death Valley. So I'm going to go with Clemson and the more experienced quarterback in Cade Klubnik there. Gardner-Webb at Georgia Tech. Haynes King getting the job done against Colorado. I have no doubt that he will get the job done against Gardner-Webb. Going to be an interesting matchup for sure in Atlanta, but I'm going to go with Georgia Tech, as Haynes King should be able to get the job done. Texas Southern at Cal. Another hate-watch game for us right here in the ACC, but I'm going to go with Cal here. They got the job done against Oregon State when I didn't think they were going to. I'm not making that mistake again. I'm picking Cal to get the win that they should be able to get. Berthing Krockman, I believe, at Miami. Don't quote me on that, is how you say that. Give me the Miami Hurricanes, though, as they should be able to get the job done. They got the job done against Notre Dame in a tough matchup on Sunday night. I expect no different. I think Carson Beck is going to show why he is one of the best quarterbacks in college football, as he will get the job done at home. And he will probably throw for 6 or 7 touchdown passes in this matchup before they take him out. North Carolina at Charlotte. Last night, North Carolina did lose in Bill Belichick's debut. Now, they are on the road at Charlotte facing a FBS team, yes. But I think they should be able to get the job done. This is going to be a very, very interesting game, especially for Bill Belichick, right? He's never played a team, he hasn't played a really bad FCS team. So, again, Charlotte could come in there with a little chip on their shoulder, especially with Gio Lopez being hurt. We'll see how long he is out for that starting quarterback role for Bill Belichick. And however, I do got to go with North Carolina here. Bill Belichick's just one of the greatest coaches of all time, and he should be able to get the job done at Charlotte, But we will see if Charlotte can upset North Carolina. Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. We are going to save that one for our SEC prediction video, so stay tuned for that one. Boston College at Michigan State. Man, this is going to be a really fun matchup. Both of these teams are kind of at the mid-tier in their respective conferences in Big Ten and ACC play. Obviously, Boston College losing Castellanos has been the talk of all the offseason right now. I'm going to go with Michigan State, right? I have a couple of Michigan State's quarterback cards that are really good, and I really need them to start winning some games. So I'm going to go with Michigan State here at home just for that reason. And then to close us out, our sicko time here. This is for college football sickos. Stanford at BYU. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Both of these teams, I believe, are Stanford's 1-1, but BYU is 1-0. So again, very interested to see how record's going to play an impact on that one. But I'm going to go with BYU at home to round us out for ACC predictions. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Road to Glory video will be coming straight up, so stay tuned for that one. Hit that sub button, leave a comment down below so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Let me know your predictions for ACC Week number 2, what you thought of the AP poll in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.